So they have a little illustration here of what was in the key idea box. So the top part here is if there was no random assignment. So the question mark with the dashed arrow is we're trying to figure out whether the strategy that we teach people has an effect on their ability to recover from a trip. That is the question we'd like to answer. But if we have not used random assignment, then just as an example, they're showing the balance gene associated with the explanatory and the response with their arrows. And I've written in, people with the balance gene tend to be in the elevating group. That's just as an example if we did not randomly assign. Or maybe people with the balance gene tend to be in the lowering group. But tends to be more of them in one group than the other if we've not randomly assigned. So that's how the balance gene can affect the explanatory variable, but also the balance gene could be associated with the response variable of whether the person recovers from their trip, because people with the balance gene might tend to recover better. So in the bottom part, they show that if you've used random assignment, then there is a similar proportion of people with the balance gene in each group, so they've crossed out the balance gene. It's no longer a confounding variable. And so any tendency with the outcome, if there's any difference between the groups, we can attribute that to the strategy and nothing else. We can say it must be because of the explanatory variable. Okay, so number 13 says, suppose the study finds a statistically significant difference between the two groups. What conclusion would you draw? Right, that the strategy affects the response recovery. Let me say recovery. The strategy then, whichever one had a higher proportion of recoveries, causes better recovery. So we can draw that cause and effect conclusion. Now it also asks for what population. Maybe I'll do that in a different color to make it more. How were the subjects selected? For this study? We were not told that they were randomly selected. In fact, I think they said they were recruited. Recruited makes it sound like they were sort of volunteers. Or maybe this was a convenience sample. So when that happens, the results cannot be generalized to a population. That's what we learned in Chapter 2 in Section 2.1. So we have to be careful. Again, random assignment is different than random sampling. So they ask, what additional information would you need to know? And that is, how were the subjects selected for the study? If we knew that they were randomly selected, then we could generalize our results to whatever population they were selected from, which again, that's not clear in this study either. Okay, and then in number 14, they say, if you obtain a statistically significant result, what does that suggest about the potential for a cause and effect relationship? So since random assignment, again, not the same thing as random sampling, since random assignment was used to put subjects into strategy groups, what we would generically call treatment groups, a cause and effect conclusion is possible. So if one strategy works better than another, we can say it is that strategy that is causing the better recovery outcome. We don't have to worry that it's because of height. We don't have to worry that it's because of sex. We don't have to worry that it's because of a balance gene. We don't have to worry that it's because of an X variable that we didn't even measure. We can say with random assignment, the strategy groups will be balanced on all these other variables. They'll be balanced on height, they'll be balanced on sex, they'll be balanced on whether the people have the balanced gene, and any other thing we could think of. The only difference between the groups then is what strategy they were using. They are balanced and have a similar mix with respect to every other variable. So if we've used random assignment, that is the key takeaway for this section. If we've used random assignment, then a cause and effect conclusion is possible.